slinging, my banging, my swinging, my.
Welcome to Neutral Voices, the place where your voice matters. This is our Thursday night segment, Voice of the People, and your voice really matters tonight. And we had a good subject last night, and we're going to ask you to stay with us as we drop back into that. But if you have not already, please go over to YouTube, click like and share, click on the button, so therefore you can get all the new content and know when we're on live. Again, we're back talking about the vanishing black man. It was a hot subject last night. We had some heated conversation, but we really want to get into it tonight. We still got a couple of guests from last night. But before we get into the deepest part of our conversation, we want to talk about some points that we really want to get out, because this is a subject that we don't want to whitewash or water down. Because it is a societal problem. It has been a societal problem, but it's also, we have to take accountability for ourselves as well in this situation.
Correct.
But James read last night, he read a list of things, and he made some points. We are first in the prison population, but last in the educational system. That's a problem. That's a problem. Because think about it. I do believe, and I'm gonna say this, and I've been saying this for years. I believe the educational system really fails us as black people as a whole, but the black young boy in school systems nowadays, they really have it hard.
And you know what? You're saying that. Do you realize that a lot of people don't know this, but they actually do reading tests, and they're actually testing to see how you read so that they can determine how many jails to build.
Yeah.
And so if you can't read by the time you get to the fifth grade.
I thought it was the third grade.
No, it's the fifth grade.
The
if
fifth
you
grade?
can't read by the time you get to the fifth grade, it basically determines or is telling them how many jail cells to build.
Because I thought it was the reading and math.
I know it's reading for sure.
At fifth grade.
At fifth,
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was
if
at
you
third
cannot, and so it's sad, but it's almost like if you can't read by the fifth grade, then you're probably going to go to jail before graduation or after you graduate.
That's
right
crazy.
After.
That's
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that's also setting me up. That don't tell you as an educator or as an educational system to look out for me, to work for me.
It should,
You know,
but that's not always
crazy.
the case.
That's really crazy.
So you're being marked as a threat, basically, as a child.
Yeah, pretty much. That's you're a threat for no apparent reason.
Yeah. So that's one of the things, you were talking about labeling. I don't want to get off track because I want you to stay with your flow. But you were talking about labeling. And so that's where I mentioned some of the things that black men hide behind. And not just black men, but our focus is black men. Yeah. But behind labels and certain things. And I wanted to point out, where do these labels come from? And so we have to be careful, because even in some of our own homes, black homes, families, we're putting labels on our children.
That's true. That's
our
true.
Black men.
That's true. ADD is one of the labels. ADHD. And that's part of the school system where they log them in instead of helping them at fifth grade. That I might just be a slow learner. I'm not slow. I'm just a slow learner, and I don't learn as fast. So instead of helping me, you label me ADD. You educationally disabled or whatever it is.
Right. And a lot of parents are quick to accept those labels.
Right.
And so
you know something, and it's funny that you guys say that, and is the biggest thing is not, like Clarence said, they learn different. Instead of being at the point where the understanding every child don't learn the same way, and they don't fix the teaching method
to accommodate.
accommodate. If a child don't learn the way that the teacher is teaching, he's slow.
Right.
He's, this, that, and the other.
Absolutely.
Not understanding that this child may be hands-on.
That's right. It has a different learning style.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could be kinesthetic, where he
Yes.
has to actually, and people don't understand that tactile type of learning.
Right.
But some young people and some old people, you just learn better when you're
Right.
moving.
Right. So
right.
instead of addressing the actual learning style, they're just slapping the label on.
That's right. And so the problem is when that parent accepts it and they don't even go investigate it, look further, get a second opinion, they accept that label, and then that child now is hiding behind that label.
Yes, yes.
And or that disorder, whatever it is.
Now we're going to jump into the room. We still got Eric and Sean with us from last night.
Welcome, guys.
How you guys doing today?
Yes,
Welcome.
they're-
Thank you for coming back.
Now this subject, I'm going to have y'all chime in, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to go a little bit further. Now, Doc V, I think you mentioned it last night where you say that there's some internal things that we do that we can prevent from us being, vanishing. And I know one of the things you said, it was the violence. Before we get into that, and I'm going to let the gentleman speak, I always say this, and I have to say this, and it's going to sound insensitive, but it's the true fact of the matter. I know we might get a few comments that's going to say I'm being insensitive, but I'm being totally true. Here's what I'm going to say. Black on black crime, we need to take that out of our vernacular.
Yes.
Crime is crime. And I'm not being insensitive, but that young man that killed his family, y'all didn't hear them say that was white on white crime.
Nope,
Y'all
they
just
just
said that it was a crime. So here's what I'm saying. I'm not being insensitive, but we need to take that out of our vernacular because that's a label that they put on us that makes us think that we're more volatile than anybody else.
That's right.
Okay.
So-
That's one of the
so-
things that they want us to
So,
believe.
but yes, we do need to stop killing each other. I'm not making an excuse and saying what I'm saying is, yes, it happened. Yes, we need to stop, but we need to get out of our vernacular as black people, black on black crime.
Right, because
Yeah.
you hear that term come from not only white people, but the black community as well. It's almost become something that is coined. And like you said, you don't hear white on white, Hispanic on Hispanic, Asian on Asian. You simply do not hear it. So, I mean, it's a phrase that's been coined and used by everyone.
Yes.
right.
So, gentlemen, as we're talking about taking responsibility, simply let's talk about the crime in our neighborhood. And I remember, and I ain't gonna tell my age, but everybody know I'm actually 49. Let me
There
put
it
that
is.
out there.
Put it
I'm
on out
49.
there. Looking good.
But
It's
you
all right.
you remember
You want to get removed from being an OG?
It's
yeah,
okay.
but you remember, speaking of OGs, and that's where I was going. You remember there were men in your neighborhood, not only your father, it was an uncle, it was an established man in the neighborhood that if you were out of line, they checked you or
Yes.
directed you right. That's a problem in our community. That's why a lot of our black men are vanishing or being vanquished. I'm not saying we're vanished. We're being vanquished. That means we're being put behind, put aside, not being seen because we're not being led correctly.
And can I just say and add to the list, even pastors. So even back then, the respect for the pastor from that man of that house,
True.
the
Well,
head
I
of the
mean-
house, they had a different respect. And so even that, may not be there.
That's why I said when desegregation hit, that's when we vanished.
It changed the game.
It changed the game.
Yes.
We vanished because at that point, before desegregation, the men in our community, took care of the community.
Yes, yes.
No matter what, can nobody touch, can nobody do nothing. We handled that situation.
Yes.
So, and at this point, it's just like we don't handle nothing. And me, and I'm just gonna say me, as a man, I'm a part of that, not handling nothing.
Okay, now we got to be clear because we're not getting ready to make the black man seem like he's not doing anything.
No.
because
No,
he's
no, no, no.
amazing.
When I say-
So I know that's why.
But
There's
let
a
me
couple
finish,
things I
let
want
me
to clear
finish,
up
let me
before.
finish.
Before you go there, there's a couple things I just want to clear up, and I love where you're going. I want you to clear that up and be really clear about what you're saying and the point you want to drive home. But then we have something we want to clear up that was said last
Yes,
night,
yes.
so that we can move forward with our conversation tonight. So, okay, help us out. E.
All I'm saying is, as a man, I dropped the ball as far as doing things that I should have been doing in the community for
Yes.
the young men.
Okay.
Second of all, we haven't, is a lot of us haven't taught our sons or our boys how to treat that queen,
Yes. I'll take a sip of my Kool-Aid right
Right.
now.
because the simple fact that we wasn't taught how to treat the queen.
Break it down for me.
Right.
Come on.
And I'm gonna go here. The first thing first, the most powerful thing to a black man is that queen.
Okay.
Period.
And we gonna get into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna break it down, and I'm gonna say this: a woman get pregnant, She had 3 trimesters. Think about this. If you got that queen and you treating that queen with the utmost respect and understand, a man has a dream, a vision, and fruition. She will help you birth all 3 of those.
I feel you.
Well, hello.
I mean, I'm just gonna be 100 about that.
Hello.
Those are 3 trimesters.
Okay.
Our dream, our vision, and tuition.
Okay.
She will help you birth that.
So can I counteract that?
Go ahead, sir.
I totally understand what you're saying. So the reality of what you're saying, why is the black man in such a mess?
Because
you just gave the black woman that position. I respect that.
I'm gonna tell you why
so
we're such
when
a
we're
mess.
talking about the black man in the position that he's in today, how do you put those 2 together? How do they mesh? How do you have the picture that you have today?
I can
I'm gonna
answer
tell-
that
okay,
if
go ahead.
he can't.
No, let the brother answer.
I'm gonna
go
answer
ahead.
that,
Go
please.
ahead.
Because
And we got to get to the brother in that room.
Because the simple fact that we forgot how to uphold that. We don't have the dream. A lot of men don't have the dream. A lot of men don't have the vision. So if you don't have the dream, you can't have a vision. And you can't come to fruition with your vision and dream.
And if
Period.
your dream has become a nightmare, we got a whole nother story.
I mean, but if it become a nightmare because it's a fact that you didn't understand how to make that move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And
I'm gonna let the gentleman in the room
Yes.
input. First of all, let's talk about us as men, black men, being responsible for some of the things that society seeing us as we are in the room.
Yes. I just want to say this in the room. Sean, you in the room? You
Yeah.
with me in the black velvet room? Thank you for being back tonight. Hey,
Thank you for having me.
I want to make sure we give you an opportunity to explain something you said last night that probably upset a lot of black women. And
I
so-
thought I was going to have a lynch mob out there.
Yeah, you got a few
Bro, I can
threats.
tell you exactly what time you said what you said too. So
So let's go ahead and
I'ma
have
tell
you
you that
address that
today.
at this time.
All right. So it's kind of, the title of this show is what?
The neutral voices.
No.
The
Vanishing
black
Topic.
man.
black man.
The vanishing black
Say it
man.
again.
The vanishing black man.
Now here we have a black man. I'm a black man. There's a bunch of other black men. You understand how terrifying that subject is? So my whole point is, if I was allowed to explain by me getting your attention, because I understand saying certain words will trigger certain people. And the certain people, I did it on purpose. Because if you think about it, when slavery was ended, you had Reconstruction. Now, even though our ancestors came from Africa, we were far removed. We no longer had a culture, a people, a land to call our own. We had nothing. Everything was adopted. Because we're different than Africans. We're not Africans. We're different. Generations and generations and generations, we've been removed. But when slavery was ended, the black man depended on who for survival? Who? The black woman. The black woman depended on the black man for survival. And the reason why we did so well coming out of slavery with no help, no 40 acres and a mule, not many, if anybody know their history, white folks come all the way from Europe, Ireland, and everything, and they advertise a free land grab. Guess who wasn't part of that? Slaves. Former slaves, free men, anybody who was black wasn't part of that. So we still bubbled. You had whole towns, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we were self-reliant, and we were doing just fine. We were doing great.
My point exactly.
Until those powers that be, those enemies, was looking, we can't allow that. Because you cannot talk about a black woman in America and a black man in America without putting the two together. Because guess what? In 1960, 1950, when they created welfare, subsidized housing, everything else, they said, look, they did it on purpose. They said, look here, because the woman depended on the man for what? Protection, provisions, all that. And the man depended on the woman to take care of the home, take care of the children. And the first person, a baby, that man, his legacy learned from was his wife and his mother.
Right.
Didn't go to daycare, didn't go to the white schools. And guess how many doctors and lawyers and politicians and inventors we produced in the worst of times for black men and black women, because we're unique than any group of people in the world. Chinese, they have a culture. You get what I'm saying? Arabs have a culture. White folks got a culture. Everybody know where they came from and who they are and everything else, and they have a culture and a heritage. We don't. Our culture and heritage is that we bubbled under extreme duress and extreme circumstances together, and you can't separate us like that. And they realize if they separate us, that they win. We shouldn't even be sitting here. If I'm saying stuff like that, that means you need to wake up. You need to wake up, black man, black woman.
Every man.
Every man.
Yes,
but check it out.
Absolutely right.
But check it out. The point, the turning point was when welfare came into the situation of subsidized housing. Guess what? They said, look here, we'll feed your children, we'll send them to school, we'll send you to school, we'll give you money and everything else. But guess what? You either take the money or you take the man.
Right.
And guess what?
Exactly.
And guess what happened? What happened was now every sister say, I don't need no man. White women don't holler that. Arabs don't holler that. Chinese women or Asian women don't holler that. Only black women.
But,
and the only one they talking about independent. It's no such thing as an independent woman. Because we are unique. We're the only unique group of people in the world because we need each other. And you can't talk about either one of us unless you put us together. And we work better together. We're dangerous.
Well,
we're dangerous if we're together.
I agree we work better together, but I believe that we have somebody on the panel that's disagreeing right now with something you're saying.
Go ahead.
So we want to give Jill an opportunity to speak. She wasn't here last night, but this is our other panelist.
A lot of white women have got rid of their men to replace them with welfare as well.
Well,
That's right.
Well, y'all ain't going through the struggles like black women do.
But that's not what you said.
That's feminine.
That's not what you said.
Hold on. Brother Sean, I'm gonna go there with you. I'm gonna stay there with you. So
we talking about.
I'm gonna talk about. Trust me, I'm gonna stay there with you because reason I can say this is because I have experience in working in the welfare
So do I.
department. I do have experience of working in the welfare department, and I have studied the history of welfare. And everything he said is absolutely true.
Yes, it is.
Correct. Everything he said is absolutely true.
Yep.
And here's the problem. And it became a perpetuation through generations and generations of welfare recipients. And it has gotten to the point, honestly, that maybe his gruffness rubbed people wrong, but as he's saying it today, he's saying it absolutely right. The welfare system really did replace the black man.
The point that he said last night wasn't about welfare.
Right.
I just want to be
discussed that.
clear, and just so Sean
What I'm
is
just saying.
clear to
Hold on.
drop.
Well,
yeah,
can
to
I
the
finish?
conversation.
Let me just say this.
Yes, I just don't want. Wait, Sean. Only thing I'm saying is we're going to run out of time again because we only have like 20 minutes less
Okay.
now. But all I'm saying is I wanted to make sure you drove home the point when you said the black woman was the new enemy.
The black woman and the black man were meant to be together. And that's the way the Creator, God, and whoever it may be, put us together. And like I said, we're more unique than any other group of people in the world. We need each other. We do better with each other.
Right. So was the
Coming
black
from
woman
nothing.
the enemy of the black man or not?
Today, I'm saying they don't know how to put it like this. Anybody know Star Wars? They done crossed over to the dark side. They need to come back. You get what I'm saying? And then we'll be harmonious.
You
And
said
we-
you saying the black woman didn't come back, and it seemed like this get ready to go to our next
Well, I mean,
topic. Eventually,
it's
we'll get
too-
to the black woman.
I can't satisfy everybody. If everybody don't get it, It just go over their
I
head.
mean,
It just go over their head.
I get what
Right, but we
I
just trying to give
understand
you
what
an
you're trying to say,
opportunity.
but you have to understand, in order for the black woman to come back, the black man need to stand up.
Man, if you don't stop,
But if-
hold on.
Bruh,
Okay.
bruh, at the end of the day,
that is
you-
so offensive. I
No, and
swear
I don't
that's
care
so,
how
that's so,
offensive you
that's
get,
so
but
offensive.
I don't care
that
how offensive
it's
you
so
get
many
with
black
this.
men that's standing
Bruh.
up. I'm standing up.
There's a
Bruh,
lot of them that
bruh,
are.
I don't care
but-
how offensive you feel that
I take
is,
care of all
but
my children. I
at
got
the end of the
custody of my
day,
children.
Guess what?
You keep saying
And-
that.
No, hold on. If you'll be quiet and listen. At the end of the day, guess what we need to do to get our? You saying that they're our enemies? We need to understand one thing, and one thing only. We need to respect at all costs of our sisters. Period.
Okay.
Well,
No matter
Absolutely.
what.
Let-
If you see a sister out of line and you don't have to go off on her, you could talk to her with,
That don't
the
work.
up.
Come on, let's keep it
Bruh,
real.
that let me know.
hold on.
That let me know.
One
One
thing
thing
That's
about
the-
you.
we going
I
too
was
far
gonna
left
say
right now.
yes.
We're going too
That's-
far left
that's
now.
our subject when we talk about
look at
women.
that. But here's a sad fact and a true fact. And I can say it, and I understand what he's saying. I really do. I can translate what he's saying, but I'm not going to put words in his mouth. But I'm going to say it like I'm going to say it. And even with the welfare system, that's true. But here's the problem. A lot of them are not coming back, and it's sad. A lot of them not coming back. And black
back
men,
to what?
hold on,
Okay.
to the dependency. Seriously, we're talking about the vanishing black man.
men have the other place they have gone that we haven't got to because we need to get to it. But you do have a lot of black men that have turned their own backs on their
Exactly.
black community and their black women.
Exactly.
So I'm saying, so you say come back to what if they're not there? I want to put that there as you move to that.
I was going to go there. Here's the thing. And this is a sad situation, and we're going to talk about the black women. I think we talked about the black family, but we're going to have to talk about the black culture. This
That's
is going to
another-
this is
another
a
show,
whole nother
another
show.
day.
But here's what I'm saying. It's true, Doc V, and I'm saying it because we gotta take emotion out of this and talk about facts and reality.
Exactly.
We gotta use rational thought in this.
Absolutely.
Rational
Exactly.
thought. Take all
Absolutely.
emotion, all hostility out of our conversation.
Yes.
And let's you think about this rationally and realistically, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now, here's the situation. Yes, some of us black men think that we have gotten to a financial status, a business status, that yes, we're no longer considered black. If we reach a dollar status, we don't think we don't
exactly.
hold on. We don't consider ourselves black. So we have alienated. We have been responsible for alienating ourselves. That you talk about multiracial marriages, interracial marriages, But here's the thing. As many as black men, and you look at the numbers now, black women are marrying outside the race. As
Yay,
a greater
black
race.
woman.
So what I'm saying is, here's what I'm saying. Here's what
Sometimes you got to wake up.
no, but here's what I'm saying is that diminishes. I mean,
And that's okay. That's what we're talking about.
So that's what we're talking about. And this is where I said last night. There is multiple factors. We can't look at one side. We can't look at just pick this and pick that.
That's
and again, let's take emotions out of it, and let's look at reality, and let's look at facts. The
Yeah,
facts.
I think we're ready to look at
the
the
reality
facts.
and the facts are yes.
We ready.
Us living up to some of the stereotypes people put on us, the gangster, the thug stereotype, getting into criminal justice. Hold on.
You said that people put on us. I want to make sure we keep it clear because remember what I said last night about self-inflicted? Okay,
Yes.
some of that we put on ourselves. So that's when I was talking about rappers.
Yes.
Yeah,
and not just rappers, but what
Right.
we say.
Right.
Even some young ladies, but we'll get into that another
So
time.
as
but-
we perpetuate that lifestyle, that, we
Yes.
think that we need to be thugs. We think that we need. So yes, that's self-inflicted. We're doing those self-inflicting things. Like I say, thinking that we get to a financial status and thinking that we move out and move up, and we forget that we're black. We only see green, and we don't stand up for causes. Our voices become silent. Now. And I know we're going to get letters and comments about this. Let's talk about, the trans and the homosexuals that don't identify as men anymore. They want to be called women. Black men that were born black men now want to be called women and female. So there's a whole lot of factors in this that is
okay, you
vanishing
say you
us
want to
as
talk
black
about it. What you want to say about it?
Here's what I'm saying. And again, emotionally, we're going to take it out.
That's gone.
Everything that's
Emotions
said,
over.
Everything that's
you
said,
just brought up some facts
right.
that probably need to be talked about
Yes.
because we're talking about the diminishing black man.
Right. All
Where
of these
is
are
he?
factors. The problem is those that are here, we get swept under by all these other factors.
Okay.
We get swept under by the news. Oh, there was a news shooting on a young black man. A black man was killed on this side of town. Black man shot another black man. We get all of that. We don't get a black man just opened a business on this side of town. He's thriving. He's doing this. We get the they're out there killing each other. Oh, they're selling
So we don't
drugs.
get that
We don't
positive
get that
image
positive
of that
image.
black
Yes.
man.
Well, like you said, like I always said, we have to write our own story.
True.
So we need to start setting the narrative, regardless of who else is setting the narrative.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing right there. We need to start setting the narrative.
Yeah.
And that's why I said last night, the lack of leadership, when a black man can't look in the mirror and recognize who he is, what faults he have, and begin to correct them, like Michael Jackson said, and start with the man in the mirror. Because believe this, the lack of power comes from the lack of activism in our community.
So one of the biggest things is we need to stop doing this.
And we're going to run a few minutes over. I don't want to cut anybody else off, but I want to have everybody have their voice. Brother Eric, you've been quiet tonight.
Man,
you was
just
giving
cut
a...
me off. I don't like you.
I know, I ain't even got to talk. You all cutting everybody off.
Hold your horses. I'm going to let y'all speak.
I'm on my feeling.
But didn't your mama always tell you to be hospitable to your guests?
I'm on my feeling.
So I'm trying to be hospitable
Okay,
to our
come on,
guests.
wake up, black man, and be powerful.
So,
go.
Eric Jones, you were giving some encouragement last night, and I asked you back to finish your statement when you was talking about lifting up black men, training black men, and teaching black men, and things such as that, and changing the mindset.
Yes.
Y'all.
Caught him off guard.
I did. You did. I think the biggest thing, the problem in our community is brothers. The ones that are coming up, starting business, I think we lack a lot of my brother's keeper. You know what I mean? We tend to work hard and achieve what we have going on in our life, and then what happens is we forget where we come from. You know, I use myself as an example. I come from a single parent. My mom, half my life, my mom raised me. My other half of my life, my grandmother raised me. So I have two powerful women within my life. And you know, one of the things my grandmother used to tell me all the time, you know, when you go to a woman's house, you should never go over there with an empty pocket. You never know, you might have to go over there and get a loaf of bread or some meat. So my grandmother instilled those values in me, and that's just a smart part of just the mind myself. But in the spiritual perspective, I was raised by a praying grandmother. So when I go outside and pray, she's always pray for me, and I used to run around with the wrong people, and because they always had to be around the finest women. So you know, I like to be around the dudes to get all the women. So
I feel you.
So guess what? And what happened is when I get around the dudes who get all the women, what I used to do is I find out they had some other plans. Mm-hmm. And then when I find out what the other plans was, they would do some other extra stuff that, you know, my spirit was not allowed. So every time I get in a bad situation, my spirit would tell me, no, go back home. Your grandmother just prayed for me. And then I go back home, and I learned to be by myself. So get to my point is when I found myself and I had a purpose in life, and I realized my purpose was not about me, but it was about everybody else around me. And then that's what got me on my path, focus on my mindset. You know what I mean? So that's what I was saying yesterday about getting to know yourself, my inner self. You know what I mean? You know, some people say, well, how do you get to know your inner self? I don't know. I just, a lot of times, I just kind of be quiet. You know, the word said you have not because you ask not. So I don't want to get too far in depth, but what I want to say is the brothers that do come up, you need to start mentoring other brothers. And I'm going to be honest, you know, a lot of times in organizations today, they focus on the youth. No, trust me. Get that grown man. Other grown men say good, other grown men, because when you pour in that other grown man, that grown man can pour in his children at home. And if that man got 4 or 5 kids at home, guess what? I mean, you're doing something, you're doing a massive ripple effect. So my personal opinion about the mindset, I think the brothers, we just need to start bringing unity back to our community. You know, you see organizations, you see programs, all the black women come together all the time. I don't care. They don't even have to like each other.
Correct right there.
Yep.
They do not have to like each other, but when they throw a event or party or anything, beauty, whatever, they come together and they come hard. And I see the brothers sitting there with their arms crossed, and it's like, don't look at my woman. Well, ain't nobody looking at your woman. And it's crazy. So I think what it is, the mindset, the brothers have to get to know themselves. And I think that's the problem across the board. You know what I mean? We so envy and jealous of one another. And look, one don't have no more. What, you got $2 more in your pocket than I do? And you got mad at me because I got $2? You go $1. Okay, and it's crazy. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much money that person got in his car. It's where his heart is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And it's where his sacrifice is. And sacrifice is for his family.
That's
I mean,
right.
So at the end of the day, bruh, black men out there, it ain't about you.
That's
It's about everyone else around you. What I mean is, it's about that woman. Whatever race she is, black, white, whatever who you dating, I'm saying at the end, if you truly a king, care about your dominion. You know what I mean? And everything underneath you. So that is my focus, is me
That's
mentoring
good.
other brothers and other brothers. I'm trying to get a sister on board if I find one, to put on board to help the sisters. So if this brother over here or several brothers over here are helping other brothers, and then these brothers over, guess what? Now black men and black women don't hate each other. So guess what?
Okay.
This black woman conditioned these women. This black man conditioned these men, and guess what? One room, another room, together at the end, they come together.
Amen.
And that's
So-
right. And you know what,
Yes,
E?
amen.
So that leads right into this thought that I have. And then I believe, Jill, you have something you want to add. So, you know, we keep talking about I'm going to say, strife between a black man and a black woman. One of the things I want to point out is I believe that a lot of times the black woman is holding the mirror up to the black man when they're in a relationship so that he can see himself. And a lot of times he's not ready for what he sees. He can't handle that reality.
Of
So
himself.
it's not that she's coming against him, but because she's tied to his loins from a whole lot of different perspectives, she understands him like no one else will ever understand him. She understands him like his mother understands him. And so she get to tell him, honey, baby sugar, look at yourself. Look what you're doing to us. You're looking in the mirror, but us is us. Look what you're doing to us. They don't see us until we see us.
Well, you know, the brother, man, the problem with the brother is he's using the wrong head to think with.
Well, then
That's
there's
his
another
problem.
story. Thank God we
Yeah.
got Jill here. We're going to talk about this. Jill, I thought we better get into that.
Jill, we're going to let Jill.
Jill, you were going to say something?
You might close it out.
Got
So
a couple things.
I just wanted to say, you know, we asked, you guys posed the question to Eric, who answered, oh, you know, what is the issue? What is the issue a black man is facing? So you have a strong, we know him. We know that he's hardworking. We know that he is a great father. We also know that sometimes he comes off as very gruff. But let me say this. He didn't come out and say, we're struggling because of this, them. The first thing he said is we are struggling. He said accountability. He said, I dropped the ball. He started with him. We have to remember our present strong black men who may not be seen because you refuse to see them, but they are here. There are two of them sitting right next to me. And he didn't point blame at anyone, any woman, any system. Even though the systems exist, the first thing out of his mouth was, I failed. Accountability. It's everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, E.
I'm done.
All right.
You got your accolades now?
There's your flowers.
No, no one no accolade. It was just it was real.
It's real.
true.
It's real.
At the
It's
end of the
true.
day,
Yeah, that's right.
I'm surrounded by real men, and I'm gonna say that wholeheartedly.
Yes.
I'm surrounded by two great men every day, and I
Is-
learn from them too. They are my OGs. I'm just gonna be 100 about it.
Right.
Okay.
If I'm in the wrong, they're gonna say, "E, you in the wrong," and guess what? E gonna do? Listen.
Right.
And that's one thing that we fail as men to understand. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes, it does.
And so
All
talk
day.
talk to the mother that's a single mother and she has the son in the house. What can she do?
I mean,
The father is missing.
The
Come
father
on.
is missing. At the end of the day, you got to find somewhere to surround that young man around strong young men. I mean, strong
Yes.
men. Period.
Yes.
I mean, my mom did
Absolutely.
it, but at the end of the day, like I said, I understand. I have to be around stronger men than me, so I can get.
So you saying she don't need to try to be the man. There's too many other men in the
It's-
community.
it's
Find
crazy.
a mentor.
You know the funny part about it
as
is
a leader.
is plenty of men in this community, hands down,
Right.
that are willing
Yeah.
That's right. Willie and should
able.
lead and help lead, because if you don't connect him to the right man, he's going to find the wrong man, or the wrong man's going to find him.
Because somebody's going to
Right.
show him.
Exactly.
Somebody's going to teach him.
Right.
Yes.
Well, all in all, we were talking about facts and myths, and we hit at some things, and we went some places. But the true fact of the matter is, the black man is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. The problem is how he's being seen, and if he's being seen. Again, I said last night and the night before, if we're a commodity, if we're selling records, we're winning games, we're marketing anything, we're seen. We're seen. We're seen beyond imagination. But what about those that's just out there just trying to get day by day, trying to live a peaceful, honest life that they're not seeing? And the ones that are leading, that once you start to lead, they try to diminish your light. They throw dirt on your name.
Yep.
I mean, there's things that systematically and things, that happens. So we just need, as black men, and the one thing I do like that we all stated is that we need to come together. And we need to stand for each other. So that is one thing that's true. We're not going anywhere. You can't get rid of us. We're not going anywhere. You got to change your vision of us. You got to change the way you see us.
But and I know we got to get out of here, but I hate to say it, but this sounds like, we saying that again. If you don't change your mindset, I'm talking about you as an individual person.
you.
If you do not change your mindset and see yourself greater than what you are, you're gonna be stuck in that same position. So I mentioned rappers, but I'm talking about entertainers, anybody that's out there, that's in the front of our young people, and that's what they're seeing, and parents don't care what their children are watching and listening to. If they don't change their mindset in the way that they present themselves, we're going to be going down this cycle continuously. And the black man, along with any other man, the future black man will continue to be diminishing.
Yeah.
It'll be a consistent erasing or
We
diminishing.
we gotta close up out of here. Mr. Scott, you want to give us some wisdom?
Mrs.
Yeah,
Scott?
actually, man, I got a question for Dr. B.
Okay.
From a black woman's perspective. When you look at the black man, has he failed?
No, absolutely not, because I have too many positive black men around me in my life. Because just in this city, I can look at in my household as my father, my family, the men in my family. Then when I see people, even like the leaders in my community, like Marshall White and Joe Jordan and a whole lot of other ones. Then when I look at television and I see people like Tyler Perry and, people that's doing great things. So I would say absolutely not. But if we don't get a grip, if we don't wake up, like I said, wake up and be powerful. Okay, let's get a shirt. Wake up, black men, and be powerful, because it's in you. You are built for that. And so I just believe that once that black man get a hold of his dream, and he actually get a hold of it, I'm talking about hold on to it and know what to do with it, I think he's going to be stuck in a place of a cycle of diminishing. It can happen. So you got to wake up. Remember what they said? He's not asleep, or he's not dead. He's sleeping. So are you asleep? It's time to wake up.
Well,
Did I shut it down? Did the room go?
This
What happened?
this has been Neutral Voices.
Okay.
We thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. The Vanishing Black Man, true or false, devalued, unappreciated. Heard a whole lot of negative things about black men tonight. Some of it's true. I would say, as a unified body of black men, it's a bad vision. A lot of individual success, but until we come together, the fight will always be a fight.
Yes, sir.
Tune in next time. We'll see you. Have a good night. Peace.
slanging my banging my swinging my coup. DeVille scoop.